Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between WhiteRa and Seinfeld here on Kulas Ravine. This is going to be a Protoss versus Zerg match. Seinfeld and WhiteRa just telling good luck, have fun, good luck, good luck. So pretty much standard nice talking from both of these players right now. The blue Zerg player is Seinfeld spawning over here on the bottom right hand corner. Meanwhile we have WhiteRa spawning as the red Protoss player on the bottom left hand corner. So looks to be a pretty interesting matchup. This replay was sent to me specifically to cast. These are high level, I believe, European players going out and building that 8 pylon and also training up some more probes as well, using that chrono boost in order to speed the building of that probe as it wasn't building a probe for a little bit of time. So probe now once again heads back out, and it does not scout out with that early probe. Both of the players, I believe, are in the Platinum League, so Seinfeld asking Platinum, and WhiteRa says yes, or WhiteRa says yes. So this is going to be Platinum level play, and we'll see we will see how Platinum level play on the European server looks like. I believe this is a European game just because when I tried to see what the races were in the replay viewer, I believe Russian showed up. So Russian showed up, or it was a Ukraine, or it was just an alphabet that I'm not familiar with, and that's why I think this is going to in fact be a European replay. No real scouting coming in from WhiteRa, which does surprise me. Going to be a little bit late on this gateway, so once again that surprises me as well. And let's getting up to 200 minerals and trying to speed build these probes. So WhiteRa going for perhaps a very, very strong Zerg or a Zealot push, perhaps going to go double gateway. No, now scouting with that single probe, and no, that probe is now going to go for an early Nexus. So we are in fact seeing a 15 Nexus from WhiteRa. That is an absolute surprise to me. A drone now moving out for Seinfeld, and that is one of the that's one of the riskiest moves I've seen in quite some time that a Protoss has played, even in the original StarCraft. If that really works out, he will be able to get that economy up and running very quickly. Spawning pool now down, so that spawning pool, but I do not see any Zerglings in production. So with no Zerglings in production and now going for a quick Roach Warren, that in fact is going to be a safe bet, getting that early Nexus down. I was hoping to post this on StarCraft Legacy, but I think there's just a little bit too much lag. I hope the game continues to play out well, otherwise I'm going to post this on my main site. Anyways, WhiteRa now coming in also with an additional pylon as well. Nexus nearing completion. Nexus probably needing about another 20 seconds. Secondary gateway being built. And Seinfeld complaining about my lag as well. No, kidding. There's just a little bit of lag where he's playing. Not getting any gas right now. So not getting any gas. Taking a look at the drone counts, the unit counts right now, it's 18 probes versus 16 drones. So in fact, the WhiteRa able to outmine his opponent. A single drone gonna come into this position and quickly find a Zealot to greet him at that front door. And as he sees that there's already a Nexus out, that's gonna be a hard blow, as the Protoss player is able to out-expand the Zerg player. Things are going to get very, very hairy for that Zerg player. He really needs to master, try to make his opponent pay for spending so much on that additional, or spending so much money on this early Nexus. Taking a look at the count right now, a couple probes now just sticking around over here. Not sure why exactly they're standing here, waiting for that forge, perhaps trying to get some cannons into position. And those roaches finally moving out, a little bit delayed. And now we finally have this Overlord moving out as well. So 2 cannons, Zealots in the front in order to combat them. The range of a cannon is, I believe, 6 or 7, as opposed to the range of a roach, which is 3. So the roaches will be taking a couple hits before they are able to start trying to take down that cannon. The roaches will be dealing 16 damage a shot, or 15 depending on when it warps in. And now here comes this fight, trying to do a little bit of a hit and run. That one Zealot down to 82 hit points, all of its shields taken away. But with 2 cannons up, WhiteRa is successful in setting up this expansion. Very nicely done by WhiteRa, getting an early Nexus. Roach now gonna go ahead and come around from this far side and perhaps try to sneak in through this position here in order to come in, but there's a nice choke point here, and now a cybernetics core being built. No, he's in fact going for the destructible rocks on this backhand side, so the destructible rocks down to 1600 hit points as Seinfeld quickly taking this down. and WhiteRa is not, I do not think he's suspecting this at all. That is a really, really brilliant play by Seinfeld in order to come in through that back door, thinking that he is pretty safe at this point in the game. A single drone now going to get quickly destroyed. So taking a look over here, we are still at hatchery, not at layer tech yet. So there's not going to be any Mutalisk or any Hydrolisk. Zerg has no way to really counter any units until they get to layer, as that's when a Hydrolisk and Mutalisk open up. I'm going to go ahead and destroy these back destructible rocks as well, and I'm taking a look over here. WhiteRa, if he clicks on those destructible rocks, will in fact see that they are being targeted, but he is not clicking on them. A single roach, going to go ahead and check that there is a unit on that front door. Zealots now moving out even further from the fight, and that's exactly what Seinfeld wanted, as those roaches are going to be able to push in. Zealots now chasing those roaches, and those roaches just going to be taking some damage, and now those roaches are now in the back of the base, and the poor drone's going to get taken out very quickly and being forced to stop mining from this location. One drone getting taken down, perhaps another set of drones going to get taken down. Pylons quickly getting focused down as well. One pylon getting taken down. If another pylon gets taken down, no additional units. Taking a look at this right now, 53 over 52. So WhiteRa is currently upside down in terms of food. Zealots once again trying to re-engage. And now those units are now doing this a little bit of a hit and run. Probes getting in the way a little bit. Hit and run, able to pull back and fire. Nice moving back and then holding position in order to just deal a lot of that damage. Zealots getting destroyed, but those roaches taking their hits as well. Stalker able to deal a lot of that damage as well, as the Stalkers get additional damage against those armored units, which those roaches in fact are. But those hit and runs still taking their toll, taking down a lot of this Zealot army. So Seinfeld playing a great play, dealing a lot of damage towards these units. Stalkers continuing to trying to come in. An army of 5 roaches now trying to take down this single Zealot, and now going to focus back against these Stalkers. The Stalkers do in fact move a little bit faster than those roaches, and they have a farther range. Their range is now at 6 as opposed to the roaches' range of 3, and continuing to move in. And well, once again we have this army re-engaging. 3 Stalkers should be able to take down the rest of this particular roach army. But very, very nice play by Seinfeld and WhiteRa here on Kulas Ravine. Taking a look back at the drone count right now, it is now 21 to 26. So in fact, WhiteRa is in fact behind in terms of the game. Only 7 roaches though, compared to 3 Stalkers and 3 Zealots. Taking a look at the army count, WhiteRa does in fact have the larger army. Is there a worker? Is there income? So Harvesters 25 to 24. Gonna go ahead and turn off that unit overlay. Roach is now moving out quickly, taking down and splattering that probe into the ground. Now we are finally at layer, trying to take a look at what the tech is going to be. Is in fact going to be Spire. So Spire being built. I would have suggested Hydrolisk at this point in the game, as those Hydrolisks would be able to take or deal a lot of that damage as well, and stay on the ground and perhaps not cost as much gas intense wise. Taking a look at the gas of Seinfeld. Seinfeld sitting at a fair amount of gas. I guess he's not too concerned at this point. A large amount of roaches and now a single Overseer out in the field in order to counter any Dark Templars or be able to spot any observers. Roaches once again moving out. Taking a look at the army count. Army of WhiteRa sitting at 1,500 minerals, while the army of Seinfeld sitting at 1,400. We'll see how those are used. Now that back door is finally open, that is going to really play into how the game works. But there is in fact an Immortal in play, and that Immortal dealing 50 damage towards those roaches should be able to mop up this attack right here. So Immortal quickly trying to get some blasts in, and trying to take some blasts, able to take down those roaches very quickly. One Immortal down, or one roach down, one Zealot getting taken down as well, but the rest of this army continuing to fight. That Overshield working very well, limiting the damage, but now that Immortal needs to pull back away. Immortal down to 50 hit points, may get taken down, but once again those cannons now engaging. A secondary Immortal now coming in to try to focus down more of those units, able to focus down that Overseer down to 21 hit points. Down goes a single roach as well, so Seinfeld now pulling back as WhiteRa's economy finally starting to take shape a little bit more. Taking a look at the army sizes, yeah, 56 to 45. Seinfeld losing a lot of those units, only left with 4 roaches, or 4 or 5 roaches, and now the army of WhiteRa pretty strong with that Immortal. So that Immortal a perfect counter to that roach army. Excuse me as I catch my breath. A couple of Zerglings now moving out. Those Zerglings most likely going to be used to try to counteract those Immortals and those Zerglings now. Or sorry, those Immortals and those Stalkers. Those Stalkers do not get any damage bonus versus any of these units. So it's going to become a Mutiling combination, just like the original Brood War StarCraft 1. Coming back over here, we have a pylon sitting on that high ledge. Stay tuned for part 2 and the conclusion of this replay between WhiteRa and Seinfeld here on Kulas Ravine.